Hey everyone, it's Adam here. Um, this is my final reflection for ECOMP 355. I'm doing it in the boardroom where I came every Wednesday to enjoy our fabulous lectures. So, my luck, there's a big old whiteboard in here, and I'm going to use that to my advantage for this assignment. So, the very first tool that we learned about was Zoom. Went on there earlier today, took a little selfie. Zoom is a fantastic tool. It can be used for students to do group projects together when they can't meet in person, or teachers could use it for co-teaching, planning with other teachers, all sorts of different things. The second tool that we got introduced to was blogging. This is what my blog homepage looks like. For anyone that doesn't know, my blog address is updal1a.wordpress.com. I tried to change that because I made this blog in, I think, my first year of university, so I tried to change it to just adamupdal.wordpress.com, but I couldn't find a way to make any of those changes. Now, in conjunction with blogging, we also used Twitter and Google+. Twitter doesn't necessarily have the best code of conduct, so you have to be careful because literally anything could be on the internet and literally anything could be posted onto Twitter. Google+, again, I've used this in other classes. I think it's a great tool for classes, much better than your courses is. The only thing I don't necessarily love about Google+ is that not all of my classes use it, so it's not one convenient place that I can go to find all of my class information. However, I'd use Google Chrome on my laptop as my primary browser, so anytime anything is posted in the Google Plus community, I get a notification, and so oftentimes I'll see that before I would go on and check your courses or something like that. One of the other great tools with a Google account is that you can do fantastic things such as create a Google Docs or also a Google Slides, and I'm sure there's other tools I haven't even discovered yet that are great for group work. The only thing I posted onto Google Docs in this class was to see if anybody wanted to come join me in this wonderful boardroom if they happened to be at the university during the class time, and we could enjoy the class together. Unfortunately, I got 0 replies on that one. Next, while we have Twitter up there, this was one of the images that I tweeted out. So basically the first image is that it is assumed everyone will benefit from the same supports and they are treated equally. The second image is that individuals are given different supports to make it possible for them to have equal access, and they're being treated equitably. And in the third image, all three can see the game without any supports or accommodations because the systemic barrier has been removed. This was my big tweet, as I like to refer to it now. I got 5 likes on that one, and a little inside joke that me and my friends have is that we like to say we'd do anything for 5 likes. Now this tweet didn't necessarily have a specific relation to this class, but because this was the only educational class I was in this semester, and one of the reasons I would go on Twitter, I was thinking in a certain frame of mind that this class put me in about education and how this was very much related to our teaching profession. This brings me to my next piece of learning, which was the SAMR model. I would say this was probably one of the most important things we learned about in this class. If I'm going to take anything away from this class, it's probably going to be this SAMR model, because it came up in almost every single lecture after we'd learned about it. The SAMR model goes through S for substitution, A for augmentation, M for modification, and R for redefinition. Now, whenever I go to bring tech into a classroom, I will be thinking about the SAMR model. This really created a framework for how this class was used, everything from Zoom being an augmentation tool that we were able to use instead of lecturing. We substituted Zoom, but we also got the addition of chat features and the ability to split off into small groups very easily, all the way to coding that we learned about, which would have been a redefinition of tech, because, well, you can't code without tech. SAMR was also the way in which we learned, or we went about learning about the tech presentation. So my group talked about Seesaw, which is a fantastic resource in my opinion. When I was in my internship, I used Kids Blog with students, and I think Seesaw is quite a bit better than Kids Blog was. The only negative thing that I really could say about Seesaw from my point of view is that you can't indent on Seesaw when you go to start a new paragraph or something, versus Kids Blog, I guess you can indent. Kids Blog eventually costs money though, whereas Seesaw is free, and I love that parents can easily connect with their kids, and you know, when a kid goes home from school and their parent says, "What did you do today?" they don't say nothing. The parent already can potentially know what has been done at school if they simply log on to the Seesaw account. Next is Kahoot. Again, I'd participated in a Kahoot. This time in this class, my group and several other groups made their own Kahoots. I think that's a fantastic tool. We'll 100% be using Kahoot in the future. If I ever have a class of my own that's grade 5 or up, I think Kahoot is a great tool for formative assessment. Next we have YouTube. Another great tool, YouTube. Obviously, you can find anything on the internet these days, but I find YouTube is especially helpful if you need a tutorial for anything, or you can also use it for your leisure time. This class really helped me learn a lot about YouTube, from the group presentation to posting my own videos on YouTube. And I also, I guess, in conjunction with YouTube, learned how to edit videos, which I think is a great skill to have with the way the world is moving in a tech direction. Next we have Prezi. Now in retrospect, I wish I would have done this assignment with Prezi and then kind of screencast and posted it to YouTube, but I'd already printed off the paper, and I'm not one to waste paper, so I went ahead and did it this way. But myself, when I teach, I use a lot, and I mean a lot, of slideshows. So now that I've learned a little bit about Prezi, I mean, I'd heard of it before this class, but I'd never really seen anybody use it before or anything like that. Now that I know a little bit more about Prezi, I will definitely be using that in my future classroom. You know, sometimes slideshows get a little boring, and I think Prezi is just another way to mix it up and keep kids entertained. Scratch. This is a little screenshot I took when I was making my game on Scratch that I eventually blogged about, and I just happened to have it saved on my computer, so I printed that off. Scratch, great tool. It was definitely my favorite blog post to write. This has been my video reflection. Cheers to a fantastic semester. I hope everybody takes a look at this. Peace.